Thanks for joining us. You're watching Tennessee Mornings. And for any woman who feels a bit out of balance and who wants to make positive changes in her life, our next guest helps you to find exactly what kind of change you're looking for and then guides you through the steps to actually do it. We have author and motivational speaker Tammy West with us this morning to tell us about some of the things that stress women out. And there are a lot, unfortunately.
There are a lot.
Where do we start with this? Because this is pretty all-encompassing. I think everybody has monsters, is what you call them.
Yeah, you want me to tell you what those are?
Yes,
so it's not
please.
confusing?
Yes.
Well, you know how like children will go to bed at night and
Right.
you turn the light out?
Yes.
And then they're afraid of the monsters under the bed?
Exactly.
But they're not real.
Okay.
So we have these things, so I've got a definition for it.
Okay.
Monsters are self-imposed barriers that keep us from growing personally.
And you know, people think, wait a minute, I'm doing okay. I've got, you know, my life and my family and everything's moving ahead and things are okay. But there are some little nagging problems that can hang out in the back of your head, right?
Yeah, and they hang out a lot. And I have to tell you, if you don't mind, the reason I've been traveling now for several years speaking to women's groups, and here's the thing. I've spoken to women in Australia, England, Scotland, Wales, professional places, you know, insurance companies, manufacturing, nurses, teachers. And so I found that all women, no matter where they are, no matter what they do, we have these monsters that hold us back.
What's the first one that we always see?
The first one is perfectionism. And you and I talked a little bit about that a few minutes ago.
Guilty. Yep.
Is that you?
All right. Absolutely.
Do you wear yours? Like,
no, but you know, you have that. You think everything really should be perfect from, you know, being at work or your house, making sure that it's perfectly clean.
Right.
That's not a reality, is it?
No, it's not a reality. And the first step is to recognize that you suffer from it and then to change your words. So instead of saying, I'm a perfectionist.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
That's just what I do. Say, I am excellent. I am faithful to what I do. Change that and then figure out where your self-value comes from. Because many times perfectionism means that you're getting your value from all these things that other people think.
Wow.
And that's what we have to be careful about. So how do we feel about ourselves? And the world tells us, you remember that Angelique commercial?
Oh, yeah.
I can bring home the bacon. And the woman's all happy about doing it all. We're supposed to be able to do everything and do it really well, and it's not realistic.
And we bought into that, and we also bought the perfume, unfortunately.
Totally.
Okay, so number one, perfectionism. Change your words. Number two, expectations. Tell us about this.
You know how women will sometimes say things like, well, if I have to ask, it's not worth it?
Right.
They should know.
Yes.
So we have these expectations of other people in the way that they should act. They should act this way, they should do this, they should say this. And so the way to overcome that is to learn about gender differences, learn about personality differences. So instead of expecting other people to act a certain way, we ask them for what we need. And that's so out of our norm. We just want them to know, and they don't.
And Tammy, sometimes the hardest part is asking for help. When you need help with something, if it's, you know, laundry, or if it's the kids, or if it's something even more than that, sometimes it's just really hard to bring yourself to that point.
Well, and that ties back to the perfectionism issue.
Right.
They're all tied together.
They are all tied together.
They're really not separable.
All right, so we got
two
monsters under control. What's next?
The third one is our perception of who's in control of our world.
Okay.
So what I see in this with women is I see them, first of all, thinking that there's nothing they can do. You know, we'll use phrases like, there's no solution, I've already tried that, I can't do that. And so, first of all, we don't see that we have any choices, and we tend to confuse real stress with real life. So the biggest piece of advice that I give people is to categorize the things in their life. This is normal life events. These are the loads in our lives, things that we can carry. And these are things that are burdens. They really are too hard for us to carry. And then when we realize which are which, we can let some go and ask for help for the other things. And that's where guilt comes from too, is by trying to pick up everybody else's load.
And I think a lot of, you know, especially moms, working moms, maybe feel guilty because the kids, they can't be home with the kids for all of the time. They're, you know, putting some of them in daycare, so they feel guilty about that. Is that something that is just self-imposed? I mean, you feel this guilt. Yeah. Where does it come from? Why do we have all these expectations?
Well, the guilt comes from because we think we're supposed to be able to do it all, and we misinterpret events in our lives. So one of the things, you know, I think you know I'm doing a free seminar on Thursday for women, and one of the biggest things that I hope to help them do is to get rid of guilt. And I know that sounds like a major thing, but I had a woman who helped me get rid of it. So I have the best advice, which would take longer than we have, but to get rid of guilt, because it's totally self-imposed.
Is that your number one? Is that what you hear the most of when people come to your seminars, that I feel guilty because I can't do it all?
Yeah.
Really?
But it's those three things, again, tied in together. Because you want to be perfect, because you're afraid to ask for help, because you don't understand which things in life are real and which are we're blowing out of proportion. We've been told by the world that we're supposed to be stressed.
And you're
it's
not supposed to be.
We're not supposed to be stressed.
I feel better already. Just hang out with us the rest of the morning. All right, Tammy is giving a free seminar. It's happening this Thursday. The Comfort Suites in Lebanon. You can register, please do, at tammywest.net for more information there. 6 to 8:30, completely free. Stop by and see her in Lebanon. The two books, we have Life Without Monsters. That one's been out for a while. The new one that you just came out with last fall is Balancing Your Career and Your Life, both by Tammy West. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
It was great talking to you. Slay the monsters, everybody.
That's
Still
right.
to come right here. Lisa Loeb joins us a little bit later. And July is Sell Courtesy Month. We're going to